Hello, I want to show you some very powerful, very easy to use predictive techniques in astrology. They're just totally awesome. First, I want to show you some of the predictions that I have made using this very simple technique. I had predicted that Donald Trump would become the nominee for the Republicans, that he might even win the election. That came true. I've predicted that Bernie Sanders will do much better than anybody expected. And just 2 days ago, I'm making this video here on February 24th, 2020, 2 days ago, on February 22nd, was the third state to vote for who will be the nominee for the Democratic Party, and Bernie Sanders pulled out way in front, way in front, and now he's considered to be the front runner. This is a big reversal. As of a month to 2 months ago, Joe Biden was out in front, and Bernie is just considered to be like some fringe extreme candidate. The experts didn't really think he could have this kind of lasting power. He's getting older, and they're just thinking he just is not going to make it. And he surprises, and I predicted this, and it was very easy to predict. So you can see that I'm not making these predictions based on some kind of political preference. I predicted Trump, I predicted Sanders. It has nothing to do with my preference. It's just looking at what's going on in the sky and what's going to work. Because sometimes history works out the way we want it to do, and sometimes it works out terrible. We've had world wars, etc. We have all kinds of things happen historically that are not good. So I take myself out of it and I just look at what the astrology is. So first, let me review quickly what the predictions are that I made. Just want to review this rapidly so you have an idea. And mainly what I want to focus on are these incredible predictive techniques. So what I had predicted was on January 31st, 2016, was the day before the primary elections began for the Republican Party. I made a YouTube video, it's still uploaded, you can watch it, where I predicted that Trump would win before any of the primaries began, that he would get the nomination. Most of the political experts said, no, he won't win, but I just looked at it astrologically and I said, he will win. And then 2 days before the election, so on November 3rd, oh, I have the wrong year up here, sorry, not 2020, 2016. So on November 1st, 2016, 2 days before the election in 2016, I had predicted that Donald Trump will do better than expected in the election that would take place in just 2 days. He will do better. He'll get more of the popular vote. He'll get more of the Electoral College. He will do better, and it will be a very, very tight race. Hillary is not going to win as easily and clearly as everyone expected. And I said, I don't know who's going to win. I'm guessing it'll be Hillary because all the experts say she's going to win. That's what the polls use. But it's going to be really close, and you might say scary, because Trump is going to do better than expected. Well, not only did he do better than expected, as we know, he got most of the Electoral College votes and he became president. So the astrology works so amazingly well. It amazes me. And on the Democratic side in the year 2016, I did make a mistake. I said that Bernie would win, which was a really wild thing to say because the experts said he doesn't really have much of a chance. And actually, maybe he would have won if the Democratic National Committee had not already decided that Hillary was going to be the nominee. There was a big scandal. As you might remember, the chair of the Democratic National Committee, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, was forced to resign because they had already set everything up and working against Bernie, working for Hillary to get the nomination. So now I've learned my lesson, not to predict who will win, but just to make it clear who will do better than expected. And again, I predicted for 2020 that Bernie will do much better than expected. So I did some public forecasts for Astrology Hub, very excellent online group, and I said publicly that the people who are moderates in the Democratic Party will not do as well as expected. That's what happened. Joe Biden was out in front. He's more moderate. He's fallen way back. Bernie, who's more radical, you could say, has come to the foreground. How do I know this? I'll show you in a minute. It's so simple to see this astrologically. Okay, so, and by the way, I just Googled Bernie Sanders news before making this video just to see what the latest news is. I saw 3 headlines that popped out. One was Bernie Sanders' disastrous answer on 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes is a popular show where they interview people, and Bernie was interviewed, and they're saying his answers were disastrous. Well, maybe they were bad. I don't know. Maybe they were awful. But he'll still do well. I said the same thing with Trump in 2016, that even if he makes mistakes, he will still do well. Why? Because we're in 13 vibration. People want a strong leader, somebody who's uncompromising, somebody who will say it like it is, somebody who will not go with whatever the system tells you to do. And they perceived Trump that way. They perceive Bernie that way. Bernie, is a no-nonsense guy. And Bernie makes it clear that we're spending 10 times as much for a prescription drug as Canada or Denmark or whatever. And this is the way it is. And if he doesn't know some details, people will be forgiving because they feel like this guy is no nonsense. We're not going to fool around. We're just going to go. That's the feeling of 13 vibration. That's what the news experts don't know. They don't know vibrational astrology, so they don't know that that's what's going on in the air. They're not able to pick it up. They don't sense that this is what's happening, and that's why Bernie keeps going. And I know the vibrational astrology. I see the 13 vibration, and that makes it clear to me that the uncompromising candidate will do better than people expect, and the compromising candidates will do worse. Does that mean uncompromising is better? No. If we were in a 9 vibration, Bernie would go down, 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 and the people who are compromising, they would win. Is this amazing or what? The astrology is so powerful that at different times, different things work. And what's really amazing to me is that intuitively, when I look at these races, like in 2016, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way Trump's going to get the nomination. Give me a break. He is not going to get it. The astrology said he will, so I said, okay, he will. Same thing with Bernie. I'm thinking there's no way Bernie's going to get the nomination. He's just way off the mainstream. No, it says that he will gather strength, and he gathers it. Whether I like Bernie or I don't like him, whether I like Trump or don't like him, that has nothing to do with it. It's what is in the air. And that's why the astrology is so powerful. It tells me things I could never even imagine would be true, and they come out correct. And by the way, one of the other headlines that I saw is an article called "Everything We Were Told About Bernie Sanders is Wrong." Well, that guy admits it. The astrology, what he doesn't know is that the astrology, the vibrational astrology, knows that there's something else going on, and all this doubt about Bernie is overpowered, you might say, by what is in the air, what people want. So let me show you how I make this prediction. I'm going to go back to 2001 with what we call the timeline format. This is a feature in the Sirius software. And way back, and I'm going to follow this up to the current time. And what this timeline format shows is it shows what the aspect is between Neptune and Pluto. Because Neptune and Pluto set the tone. They set the vibration. They're in an orbital resonance with each other, and they set the basic power of what's going on. And I went into the settings. I'll right-click. I go to Customize, and we look at these settings. I select just Neptune and Pluto, and I select all of these vibrational aspects up to the 16 vibration, or what we call 16th harmonic. And we look at 2001, and there is Neptune and Pluto in 7 vibration, and exact on December 24th. So this tells me that the vibration is 7, that 7 gives an emphasis on inner qualities, introverted qualities, ancient heritage. It tells me that the American style, which is more of a 13 vibration of leadership, of entrepreneurship, of moving forward, is not, it's not the feeling in the air, and it's going to have difficulty. And you'll remember that 2001 was the year of the horrific date 9/11, and I had predicted right after that war on terror as a response to the 9/11 event would go on for at least 10 years. There would be no easy resolution to it. Of course, I want an easy resolution to it. I want it to work, but the astrology is telling me that it won't. Because as we follow this, I'll click this right arrow, and I go to 2002, 2003, 2004, all the way up. I'll stop here at 2005, Neptune 1/7 Pluto. There's this little weak Neptune 213 Pluto. I say it's weak because there's a little grayish line with no date, means it never becomes exact. But here is the full black color with the date, February 15, November 30, means it's fully strong and becomes exact. All the way through 2005, 2006, 7, let me stop it on 2008. There it is again, exact, twice. A little tiny weak 13 thing. It's primarily a 7 vibration. And this continues until, I think it's around 2011. We get to 2011, still Neptune and Pluto. 2012, and now it's no longer exact. We don't see the date, and it won't get as black. It'll be weaker. By the time we get to 2014, we're seeing just grays for the Neptune 17 Pluto, and the Neptune 213 Pluto gets stronger. See how it's black? And then by 2015, the 13 vibration takes over. Neptune 213 Pluto. So this tells me that in 2015, the United States starts becoming stronger, more independent. The idea of Brexit in England gets stronger. The sense of independence, freedom, and strength, and people are less compromising. This is right before the election in 2016, and it tells me that someone like Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, who are more independent, more free-spirited, less compromising, less part of the standard way of doing things, they will come out stronger than expected. It's exactly what happens. Now we watch this into the next years, and this 13 vibration continues right up until the current year, 2020, it's still strong. So it tells me the theme will repeat again. And again, someone like Bernie Sanders will do better than expected. Is this amazing or what? You just look at the vibration. That's the quality that will come out stronger, that will be more supported, because that's what people are feeling. They're feeling, I don't want to dance around this. I don't want to play around. Let's go all the way and not play any games. That's the feeling. That's what happens. So now this will last until about 2026. I'll go forward 2023, 2024, and it starts weakening in 2024. No longer an exact date. You see it's just gray, and then by 2026, something different happens, and we move into a different vibration. So in 2026, all of this emphasis on being strong and independent, and people like Trump and Sanders coming to the foreground, it moves into a totally different feeling of more compromise, more softness, and more gentleness, you might say, and the feeling just changes. So that's how simple it is. And actually, if you go back and you look at the videos that I made for predicting that Trump would win, you'll see that I go into much more detail. We look at the other planets, we look at what gets activated in that person's chart, and we can do the same thing for the 2020 election and see what will happen. But just by looking at the overall tone of what's happening, we know what's strong, what's being supported, and what is going to succeed at that time, whether we like it or not. It's just going to tell you how it works. So I wanted to show you how simple this is, how this timeline format shows you so nicely how things build and develop and when they're exact, and how you, if you just understand the importance of what planetary combinations are important and you understand how these different vibrations work, it's very, very simple. You can just scan through and see what will happen. So that's how I did it. I just wanted to share that with you. We got the news 2 days ago on this third state that voted for the Democratic candidate that Bernie pulled ahead, and I saw that and I said, oh my gosh, vibrational astrology does it again. So I just wanted to share this with you, and I predict that he will continue to do better than expected. I don't know if he'll get the nomination or not. There's a lot that can happen, but he will stay in there very, very strong. And astrology is not everything. It's going to depend on exactly how he manages his things, what he says, and, you know, it's up to the people. But You might say the wind is in his sails. It's propelling him forward. All he has to do is do the right things, and he's going to continue to succeed. It's that simple. Okay, thank you very much for listening, my friends. God bless. Namaste.